Morning, February 10th, Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Time to chuck out some football chat, picks, previews, predictions. Let you know what I fancy for the EFL stuff today. Probably have a little talk through the Premier League again. Of course, you can catch all of that on the podcast. Most of you will have done so already, I'm sure. And Man City Everton, 12:30. Sure to put a bet builder together for that. Pick up the team news for you in a second on that. I know Kevin De Bruyne is benched for anyone that's interested in that. Don't stick Kevin De Bruyne in your bet builders. Let's get the team news up now. Start with Man City. Man City: Ederson, Stones, Akanji, Diaz, Ake, Rodrigo, Nunes, Foden, Alvarez, Doku, Haaland. And Everton: Pickford, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko, Young, Garner, that's Garner and Garner, McNeil, Harrison, Calvert-Lewin. There you go. That's your teams for the early kickoff. We'll put a bit of a bet builder together soon. If you're in the chat, let us know you're there. Callum's in. Good morning. How we doing, Callum? Or good afternoon, I should say. Say hello. Let us know which games you're looking forward to today. If there's any stuff you fancy in football, horse racing, darts, rugby, kabaddi, anything you want, put it in here. Don't be shy. Make sure you say hi. Morning, Lloydo. How we doing? Good to see you. Bit of a rushed one this morning for me. Got a busy weekend. Daughter number one's going off to Switzerland today. So I've got to stick her on a bus at school. 4:00 this afternoon, I think. So I'm not even going to get to watch the 3 o'clock games. I've got to go drop the daughter off. So that's a bit of a strange one. 13-year-old daughter doing off for a week. Got to make sure she's sorted. And then I've got loads of stuff to do. Preparing for a big Super Bowl party tomorrow night. I host a party every year for about 20 people up in Newcastle. So looking forward to that. Highlight of my year, the Super Bowl party. Loads of beer, loads of fun. My brother's got a bar in his house with pool table, darts board. We've got the beer pong table. We've got the blackjack table out. So we'll have beer pong tournaments, blackjack tournaments, darts competitions going on, pool competitions going on. Loads of beer, loads of food, loads of Super Bowl. So really looking forward to tomorrow night. Always a good night. Always good to catch up with some mates. So tonight I have to smoke 10 kilograms of pork out there on the smoker, ready for tomorrow night. I've got 10 kilo of wings to prep, a big pan of chili to make. So yeah, the boys will be well looked after tomorrow. Insano, how we doing? Good to see you. Early start for you today. What we doing? Looking at Ipswich. Lloyd was asking if I fancy Ipswich. I'm not touching Ipswich at the moment. They're on my avoid list purely because their form at the moment is pretty stinking. Wheels have definitely fallen off a little bit, hasn't it? So let's have a quick look at their recent form. I'm not touching Ipswich, even at home. No win in 3. Just one win in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One win in 8 league games now. Yeah, they're a definite avoid for me. And Callum's asking about Harrogate. Who have Harrogate got? They haven't made me list. I'll tell you in a minute. Actually, no, he's not asking about Harrogate. He's asking about Barrow. Harrogate definitely have made my list. Let's jump to League 2. AFC Wimbledon v Barrow. I left that one alone. I don't know why. Yeah, nothing jumped out for me in that one. I'll tell you what I've got in a minute. We'll run down. First of all, as I say, Man City Everton kicks off at 12:30. So if you are getting a bet on that, get it on early. Last week I done an early treble, but there's not a lot going on in the early games today, so I haven't put any accumulator on for the early stuff. Price boost on Bet365. If you're on there, they've got Haaland to score or assist and Man City to win. Boosted to evens. It's not the biggest boost, but I'll have a go on it. Like Grimsby Stockport will have loads of goals. I've got that coming up in a minute, Callum. That is on my list for goals. Although I've gone for Stockport to get the majority of them. I did work down the EFL, and I've got a little bit there was less that jumped out. I'm a little bit tentative this week because the EFL's been a bit poor the last couple of weeks. Been a bit of a dearth of goals. Struggled a bit last week. A lot of games which I thought looked good. For example, the Crew game finished 0-0. I didn't see that one coming. Lloyd was on Shishkin. I've put my Shishkin as my horse in my cross sport treble for this week. I've got Luton to win, Shishkin to win, and Travis Kelce receiving yards in the NFL tomorrow. That was my cross sport treble. Shishkin at a short price, but stick it in a treble. Quickly run through them. What I've got. I'll tell you what I liked in each division, and then I'll put up on the screen the accumulators I've landed on for anyone that wants them. So Championship, I like the Sunderland Plymouth game to go over 2.5 goals. Quite a regular play when Plymouth are playing. Lots of goals in Plymouth games lately. I don't see this one being any different. Sunderland at home should be able to make something of it. I fancy Plymouth might win the game, but the pick for me would definitely be over 2.5 goals in that one. Plymouth games. I mean, they had a 1-0 last week against Swansea. Prior to that, both teams to scores hitting every week. The over 2.5s and 3.5s are hitting regularly. So Sunderland, Plymouth over 2.5. Southampton will win. They're a short price, one for your accumulators and stuff like that. Andrew Kerrigan, I'll come to the corners in a bit. I did put one out on the podcast. I'll let you know what that is in a minute. Southampton team total. Southampton score 2 or more. That was all I had for the Championship. I'm always a bit less confident on the Championship stuff. But yeah, Sunderland, Plymouth overs. Southampton to win. Southampton to score 2 or more. League One. I've gone with Barnsley versus Leyton Orient, both teams to score. I've got Portsmouth to win and Portsmouth team total over 1.5. And then League Two. League Two is where I love to go for my goals. And last week it let us down a little bit. There was Notts County were quiet. The Crew game was very quiet. Notts County played last night. It was a 3-1, so there was plenty of goals there last night. Let's hope League Two is full of goals again. I've got over 2.5 goals in the Swindon-Salford game, Crew v Crawley, Walsall v Newport. I like Stockport to score 2 or more. I like Harrogate to score 2 or more. And I've got Morecambe v Sutton as a both teams to score pick as well. So I'll put up on the screen in a bit where I've got to on my Accas. Harry, you might try to get booked in each place to get booked. Yeah, Harry, let us know your fancy for cards of the day. Callum, not doing a live stream for the Super Bowl. We've done the podcast here today. I think you were in anyway. So you've caught all of our Super Bowl coverage for this from me and Mal. Was all on the podcast that we put out the other day. If you do want some pre-game live stuff, then get involved with the rest of the network. The Sports Gambling Podcast will definitely have stuff going on tomorrow in the build-up to the game. For me, I'll be too busy prepping food and organising everything ready for people arriving at the party. We've got about, it's normally 20. I think we're down to 17 this year. 17 people turning up for a big bash. So it'll be a busy day tomorrow. I've got to drive up to Newcastle in the morning as well, which will take a few hours of my time. What do I think is a better bet? Ipswich win or both teams to score? I've just said I couldn't back Ipswich to win. At the minute, they're just not winning games. If you held a gun to my head and say you need to have a bet on that game and it's one of these two, then I would take them both to score probably. Ipswich might turn things around and get back to some sort of form, but 1 win and 8 in the league doesn't fill me with much confidence. That's all. Kian, I'll pop them on the screen for you in just 1 second. A little bit less this week, but there's what I've got. So you've got a team total accumulator around 8-1. You've got an over 2.5 accumulator around 8-1. You can double the two of them up as a long shot for 75-1. And then my over 1.5 goals on each of those games. That's it today. I haven't put a winner out. I haven't done any scorers or anything like that. Tried to keep it a little bit simpler because last week wasn't great. Never picked anything on the EFL Accas. So we're trying to be a little bit smarter and a bit more selective over my picks. But those are the stuff I like. I'll leave that on the screen for a bit now. Lee, how we doing? Lee Smith, yeah, they're not going into work next week, bet. What did we have last week? Kicked off well, didn't it? I can't remember which game it was now. I'm sure you got off to a winning start and then it went down the pan, didn't it? Yeah, they're not going to work next week, bet. I'm going to type this down because I liked the sound of it last week. Harrogate, Peterborough, Salford and Sunderland all to win with both to score. 207-1. I'm tailing that. I'm tailing it, Lee. I won't be in work on Monday, but let's see if I can buy the rest of the week off. Taking Monday off because I'll not be in bed till about 5 o'clock in the morning after Super Bowl, so it's got to be a Monday off. Plus, I'm spending a few days back in the north, back in the motherland. Callum's got Norwich against QBR, but he's back in Norwich. I struggle a bit with the championship. There's a lot of championship teams who are just it's an inconsistent league at times, give or take a few teams like Southampton you can rely on at the minute, which is why generally when you're looking at my ACAs for the EFL, there's not many picks in the championship very often. Lloydo's putting out a horse, 12.55, East India Express, 12.55 in Newbury. I might have a look at that. After I come off, yeah, Andy Kerrigan, Fulham Corners, yes. We put out a ladder last week on the Fulham Corners, team corners, and we got to 13, I think. I backed it up to 11. That was the highest I could get on Bet365. I cashed 20-1 for over 10.5 Fulham Corners. Paddy Power apparently had 33-1 for 12 or more, and 50-1 for 13 or more. So there was loads of big money we had, and a lot of people got on the corner ladder. Everyone loves a ladder. A lot of people got on it last week, which was good to see. It's always good to get. If you do get on stuff like that, do send us a message and let us know, because it is good to know people are getting involved and cashing some winners from that sort of stuff, because that was a lovely pick last week. I have gone back to the same game again this week, Andrew, but this time match corners. And I'll tell you why when I go back to my notes from the podcast. So I did put this out on the podcast the other day. But Fulham's last 3 games now, 13 corners, 15 corners, 10 corners. That's just Fulham corners. That's not the total in the match. But if you look at the Bournemouth side as well, they had 11 in the last game. 11, 5, 12, 8, 7, 13. So 3 of their last 6 games, they've hit double figures for corners as well. So I don't mind Fulham corners at all. If you want to go down the same route and take a Fulham corner ladder again, feel free. For me, I'm going on the team, the match total in that one. So starting at maybe it's over 10.5 or 11.5. I haven't decided yet. Probably start at over 11.5 corners in the match, and then take 12.5, 13.5, 14.5. All the way up as far as Bet365 will let me go, and that'll be 20-1 for 19 or more corners. Plenty of form for both teams, so that's where I have gone for my corner ladder. I don't mind a little goals ladder as well if anyone's wanting a bit more of a ladder action. I think Luton have got to be worth a go against Sheffield United. They scored 4 against Newcastle, 4 against Brighton in the last couple of games. But that's not to say Luton are going to be scoring 4 goals every week. But Sheffield United are conceding ridiculous amounts of goals most weeks. You look at Sheffield United's recent form, who's put goals past them? Brighton, I think, put 5 past them. Villa put 5 past them. Newcastle have put 8 past them earlier in the season. Luton scored 3 against them away from home. Everyone's putting up numbers against Sheffield United. So I don't mind Luton to get maybe 3, 4, 5 goals. Not a banker, but a one for a bit of fun. In the form Luton are in, and the fact Sheffield United just can't defend. Yeah, Lee's pointing out, I did put out on the Super Bowl show the other day, we put some horse picks as well as the Super Bowl and the football. And the horse pick I put out was Brentford Hope, which I'd got from somebody else, but it is void. He'd messaged me this morning to say that horse had pulled out. So We won't be seeing Brentford Hope run today, which is unfortunate. We had a nice little 12-1 each way shot on that. Andrew, if you're playing the ladders, good luck. I mean, it's not always going to work out quite like last week. Last week was absolutely beautiful. I mean, Fulham had got halfway up the ladder in the first half, and then you were just cashing every little step, which is the fun of a ladder, isn't it? Once you get there, once you start hitting, you can just literally cash everything from there on in. It's a good way of playing it. I'm looking for some ladder opportunities tomorrow on the NFL as well. So we'll put a little bet builder together for Man City Everton in a bit. If anyone's interested in the horses, Lloydo's putting all of his thoughts out. So take that from the chat. Kyle, how we doing? Good to see you, mate. I'm doing well. Just talking about my EFL stuff for the weekend, which was there. A little bit trimmed down this week. Trying to focus on the good stuff. Try and pick a few winners. Fulham corner ladder, definitely all over the Fulham corner ladder. Although I'm going match corners this week instead of Fulham corners, but I don't mind playing it either way, to be honest. Premier League stuff today. We've got Man City Everton. I've gone for City to score 3 or more. Fulham Burnley. I'm just going with Fulham Bournemouth. I'm just going for the corners. Liverpool Burnley. I've gone over 3.5 goals. Luton Sheffield United. Luton goals for me. Luton goals. I think Luton will win. I've gone over 3.5 in the Spurs v Brighton game. Wolves Brentford. I've gone for Wolves to score 2 or more. And Forest Newcastle. I've taken Newcastle. I should be at the Forest game today. Forest Newcastle. But because my daughter's going on holiday with the school this afternoon, I can't get away with it. There's no way I would be getting away with going out the house at 3 o'clock and just waving goodbye to her rather than taking her to school and seeing her off. So unfortunately, despite the fact Newcastle are playing 10 minutes down the road, I will not be there today, which is a shame because I enjoyed last year's Newcastle visit to the City ground where we won it with a late Isak penalty. Man City, let's open up the Man City game. Let's get a bet builder going. Stick someone in the chat if you like anything from the bet builder. I have taken the price boost, which is Haaland to score, assist, and Man City to win at evens. But let's get a little bet builder going. If there's any picks you fancy for this Man City Everton game. Chris Wood's not playing today, Lloydo, so absolutely no chance of a Chris Wood hat-trick, thankfully. Chris Wood will never score another hat-trick in his career. That was a very much a freak occurrence. Any fancies, Man City Everton? Nobody fan. I know Lloydo has definitely got something. Callum will normally put something out. Go on, you must have some ideas. 14 people. Someone must have something. Shots on goal, corners, bookends, shots off target, tackles, goals, anything. Anything. Haaland brace from Slick Rick. Good to see you in, Slick. How are we doing? Here we go. Matt Gaskell's in. He's chucking everything out. He's chucked his own little bet builder out. I'm going to take the Haaland brace. Let's get the Haaland brace. Player to score, multi-scorers, Erling Haaland, Bosch, straight in there from Slick Rick. Let's take something from Matt's. Lloydo's put a Ghana card out, so let's go with that. Player card. Ghana. We're up to 10-1 already. We've only got 2 selections in. Right, Matt. Alvarez, Foden, Doku to have a shot. Rodri tackle. Right. Shots. Player shots. This is I'm going to go with tackles. I'm going to chuck the Rodri tackle in because, to be honest, them 3 selections I've got 10-1, and on the player shots, if I take Doku or Foden or Alvarez to get a shot. It doesn't even increase it. It still stays at 10-1. Yeah, let's go Foden over 1.5. I like that. Pushes it up slightly. Oh, sorry, Matt's shots on target. Right, I've got you, Matt. Yeah, he did say shot on target as well. I don't know why I misread that. One on target each then. So Foden, Doku, Alvarez. Right, this is a monster. 28-1 shot here. But we have got a yellow card in there and Haaland to score too. Let's snap it and then I'll put it on the screen in a minute. Saves was a good shout as well. I know Michael is obviously not here this morning, but Michael loves his saves bet, and he did put that out on the podcast the other day in the chat. Pickford saves, which isn't a bad way to go whenever anyone's playing against Man United. Did you look at Flecken last week? I think Flecken got 12 or 13 saves against Man City. Sorry, I think I said Man United there. Let's have a look. Team totals. Yeah, Flecken got 12 saves the other day. Dubravka got 8 when they played Newcastle, I remember. And there's regularly 5s, 6s and 7s for City opposition in terms of saves. So Pickford saves might not be a bad shout. I've already placed the old bet builder though. So let's have a quick look. I'm going to share this on the screen, what I've done for a bet builder. From those little selections. Just load it up. So we've gone 28-1. It's ambitious. We need Haaland to be firing on all cylinders today. Tarkowski, and whichever fullback is up against Doku. I haven't. Let's have a look at the lineup. Got African Nations Cup tonight as well. South Africa v Congo. That's a third place. No one's interested in that other. Malcolm's African and Asian selections are still flying. He's got Nigeria at 10-1 in the final, and in the Asian Cup, he's got Jordan at 100-1. I think Jordan have got a chance as well up against Qatar. What a touch that'll be if he can hit that 100-1 pick. Lineups, you've got Mikalenko left back and Godfrey right back by the looks of things, haven't we? That's how it's shown on live score anyway. It could be Godfrey up against Doku. Gaskell says City over 4 corners. It's not a bad shout. I'm not sure how much you'll get for that. Tell you what, look at Man City corners recently. You're not going to get much for over 4, I don't think. Not bad for a bet builder, I suppose. This is Man City's last 7 games. 13 corners. 7, 14, 13, 11, 12, 8. Hit double figures in 5 of the last 6. And match corners are going over 15s most weeks. Good shout on the City corners. City corner ladder could be, I suppose, obviously game script can come into it a little bit. If they get an early goal, then will they be piling the pressure on for all of the game? Whereas against Brentford, they went behind. Against Newcastle, they went behind, and they're sort of trying to come back into games, more corners there in those situations. But big numbers, big numbers. I'm going to have a look at that now for for a play. Where are we? Corners. Man City corners. See, even to get over even money, you've got to go for over 9 City corners. Only gets you 5-4. 4 or more corners is 1-25. JB, how are we doing? JB's got Alvarez over 1.5 shots on target at evens. Don't mind that. Let's have a quick look for you. Alvarez, last 5 games, 5 shots on target, 2, 1, 3, 2. So 4 of his last 5, he's gone over. The one he didn't was Spurs game, 1 shot on target. He only had 65 minutes as well. But he did have 5 shots on target against Brentford. So even money looks decent. He's hitting it more often than not. So anything over evens is a good price, I think. Lee Smith chucking out Godfrey 3-1 for a booking. Lloyd has got Edison saves over 1.5 at 4-5. I mean, City will give up some chances, don't they? They usually do. Let's look at City's saves for the last few weeks. City saves 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, there's not. To be fair, there's not many teams have created more than 3 shots on target recently. I expected a bit more there, to be honest. I thought there'd maybe be a bit more. Yeah, Harry's saying let's go City over 50 corner. You've got to go high up the list to get a reasonable price on City. Because when I'd looked at them stats, I thought straight away, this could be a corner ladder here. But when you're having to start your ladder at 9 team corners, it's not much fun, is it? I mean, even for City to get 12 corners on their own is only 5-1. That's ridiculous. I'll stand off that one, I think. Kenzie Shepherd has Doku assist and win 3 fouls, 8-1 on Sky Bet for anyone that's in. Fouls drawn. What's Doku like? I mean, I can't find a single game where Doku's been fouled 3 times, but there's plenty of 2s in there, so not a bad shout. 8-1, worth a punt in it. And to be fair, when he's played 90, every time he's played 90, I think he's been fouled at least twice recently. Even games where he's coming on for 20 minutes, he's getting the odd foul. Like, right, I'm going to take that off the screen in a second. I'll put the AFL stuff back up, and then I'm going to chat for 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to bugger off and go see what I need to do around this house. So yeah, I'm not going to be catching most of the 3 o'clock, which is a bit of a disappointment. I might catch some of the early game. I'll definitely be back home for the Newcastle game. Watch Newcastle smash Forest, hopefully. Who knows, though? Who knows? Right. There's the AFL stuff back on the screen for anyone else that still wants to see that. Matt Gaskill, what have we got here? Haaland and Alvarez, over 1.5 shots on target. And over 2.5 goals. Hold on. Is that 2.5 goals between them two, Matt? Or in the game? Oh, I've just found that, actually. I think if... yeah, Matt, it's over... Yeah, it's Haaland and Alvarez over 2.5 shots on target. I've just seen it. Rather than 1.5. I thought that sounded a bit generous, 11-1. Yeah, that bet is Alvarez and Haaland to have 3 shots on target each. And over 2 goals in the game. Still not a bad shout, like. I mean, how many shots on target? 15 shots on target City had the other day. Alvarez had 5. Foden 4. Holland only had 1 shot on target against Brentford. But he's got plenty form in the past for having at least 3. It's not a chance, like. It's an 11-1 shot, isn't it? It's an 11-1 shot for a reason, but Harry Doherty likes it. Harry's getting stuck in. Harry, how are Chelsea getting on this weekend? You've got to be hoping for a win against Palace, surely. I've taken Chelsea this week. Not very often I take Chelsea at the moment, but I've got them in. Anyway, that's half an hour done. I'm going to go sit down and get some stuff on for this City game. I might take that 11-1 shot, just for a few quid. We'll see. Right, there's all the EFL stuff. If you're in the Telegram, I will share that in there as well. For anyone that was interested in the live stream built bet builder, there is the 28-1 shot that I will be cashing in a couple of hours' time, hopefully. Cheers for everyone that's jumped in. Appreciate it as always. Still trying to build up the TikTok page to get back live on there. It's hard work. Like, TikTok is an absolute pain in the arse when you're starting at the bottom because it just doesn't put your videos out to anywhere. But I'll keep building it. We'll get there eventually, and we'll get back on TikTok live streams and get a bit more interaction. But I appreciate everyone who is dropping in on these. More importantly, make sure you keep listening to the podcast. Keep liking on Spotify. Keep following, subscribing on YouTube, and liking the streams and stuff like that. Keep coming back. If you're having a bet, good luck. Enjoy your weekend. If you're having a bet on the Super Bowl and you haven't got a clue about it, have a listen to mine and Miles' podcast from the other day where we put out our thoughts on the Super Bowl. Otherwise, have a good weekend, everyone. And I'm sure I will catch up with you again soon. Cheers.